So it's pretty easy to look me up and see that I've actually worked at places most people dream of getting interviews at. And I I think that's kind of a testament of how hard I work and my willingness to dive new things and humble myself. I've had prior videos where I've spoken about my career transitions and my willingness to go to titles that other people thought of as demotions, simply so that I could learn more and then take that knowledge back to the higher titles. But I think ultimately, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is I've worked at a few companies, I've learned their culture, and I've realized that because of things that happened and things that they did, that I didn't feel safe working at those companies anymore. And so as a result of that, I no longer accept it when they try to ask me to interview. One of the big ones that people ask me about is Amazon. And so this particular message was sent to me on LinkedIn by one of their software directors. To be clear here, she explicitly sent me a request that I return to Amazon and explicitly stated to me and confirmed later on in phone calls that this was an offer to simply work for Amazon as an L7 and to come back as an L7 because that's what I was in prior and do so without an interview. And so when I started talking to them about this and I started asking questions about the role, one of the things that happened that really made me not trust Amazon as an employer was that they actively used this as a bait and switch to get my interest and then reneged on the things that they promised me. And so, one of the things you have to understand is that these are large companies and they're full of different people, and not all of them follow the rules of the company. I want to make it clear here that I hope that it's not Amazon's plan to reach out to people, offer them jobs, and then pull out at the last second because their own rules don't even allow them to do this. However, my experience here was that the director was very focused on trying to get me to boomerang back to Amazon. And she acknowledged that there was some retention issues at the company, and that was why she was trying to do this. And it was nice to be considered valuable. It was nice to have a company reach out to me and say, "Hey, Dwayne, we know you're good because we've worked with you. We want to work with you again. Please work with us. Please accept this job. Please come back." And so even though I had misgivings because of other things that happened while I was there prior, I looked at this and I thought to myself, you know what? Let bygones be bygones. Let's see how they act now. If they want to prove themselves to me now, then so be it. Let's try. And then I had a terrible experience because, as you may or may not know, at the L7 level or higher, they have additional restrictions on hiring. And so this particular offer from them wasn't even allowed by their internal policy, which was something I was told right before we signed the offer. And so, as a result of that, I had another offer at the time that I was looking at, and I said no to that offer. And I let the other couple people actually had a couple offers, know that I was going to come back to Amazon and that I really valued them and their offer, but the Amazon people were going to give me the title I wanted and the numbers looked good and everything seemed to fit what I wanted. And so why wouldn't I accept it? And so unfortunately, I think I burned bridges with those people because they haven't contacted me ever since. And when I went to accept this offer at Amazon, Amazon reneged on the offer and basically did a bait and switch and then didn't even keep to what they promised me. And I was never hired. The big issue here is that their director directly reached out to me, said, "Look, we want you. If you're interested in coming back, there's an option to move right to the offer process and identify which role would be the best fit." Okay. That's about as direct as you'll ever get from a tech company that they want to hire you. This is not an offer to interview. This is not a, hey, if you're interested in interviewing, I have some roles that might be interesting for you. This is a pick what you want, pick the job you want. We will hire you. Promise. And they confirmed that on the phone. And so when I went to accept the offer that we ultimately got to, it was really frustrating to be told the next day on a call that they couldn't actually honor the agreement because they had a process called a bar raiser process for the level that I had been hired at that hadn't been followed as part of their process of reaching out to me. And so as a result of this, I no longer look at offers of employment from Amazon because I don't know if they're even real or not. I can literally have a director of engineering reach out, beg me to work for them, and it doesn't happen because of some internal policy that it turns out they're breaking by doing that. And so, no matter what my prior experiences were at Amazon when I worked there, I can't trust a company that does that to me. And so that is why I'm not at Amazon. Right? I also want to make it clear that if Amazon followed the leadership principles, if they thought about them every day and they actually cared about following them and they looked for cases where people were not following them and did corrective action to make sure that they were followed in the future, I would be a lot more interested in working at Amazon, as I believe that the leadership principles that they have, all 16 of them, there used to be 14 when I worked there, uh, are actually good. Like I firmly believe that a company should be able to focus on the customer and focus on giving value. And I believe that the leadership principles are, they're not perfect, but they're a great starting point. And I think that if you keep to them, then you're going to have a better time interacting with the customer. You're going to have a better company. The problem I had is that my experiences, especially with this, kind of show that the company doesn't keep to the leadership principles. Okay, I'm a customer too. I have a Prime membership. And so when they reached out to me, they didn't reach out to me just as somebody they wanted to boomerang back. They reached out to me as a customer and as somebody who trusted Amazon enough to spend money on them for things like groceries. And so, from my perspective, this wasn't just a violation of my trust as a career software professional. This was a violation of my trust as a customer. And so, when I get messages like this from Amazon, I want to be able to trust them, and I can't based on my experiences. And so, to answer your question, this is why I'm no longer at Amazon.